Good morning, Loomis. Rocco. Look at Rocco. Claude. Naomi. But where is Wisteria? I don't know. Anyways, we are starting the next vlog for GarbAugust, and now it's the official, actually mostly takes place in August one. I don't know why I said mostly, it's all gonna be August. Unless, I don't know, maybe I'll enter another universe and it's, I don't know, September there. Anyways, hey. No fighting in the war room. Guys, come on. So this week, I'm going to focus on reading short stories and short novellas. Novels that are under 250 pages and a variety of short stories. I do have a short story collection started, which is It Came from the Drive-In. Currently, this is the one physical book I have going on. I don't love it, but I'm going to try to keep going and get through it. But if it keeps kind of being a slog, I might just trade this in and get something else. But and then I did start briefly yesterday. I started Fulgrim, the Phoenician, which is a Warhammer book that is a very short Warhammer book. So excited to get back to that. Other than that, I don't know what book I'm going to start today out with. So we will see. We will see. Update you later. So, it is late at night. I did finish Fulgrim the Palatine Phoenix, which was a very good book. Again, it's part of like the Horus Heresy line, so like it's a long, complicated history. So it's there's a lot to talk about that would probably not be relevant to the normal person watching the video. But it was a really good book that was focused on a specific character that I really enjoy and had a specific point and a message to it, which was to basically like deconstruct the idea that the ends justify the means. And it's basically saying that no, absolutely the fuck they do not. So if to get to a good world, you apparently need to be the worst person imaginable and like create rivers and rivers of blood. No, it's not worth it. The ends do not justify the means. Especially when usually the ends are not what you think they are. I thought it was like a really good story. And also, there's like a really fun. So, one of the characters who are in this group called the Emperor's Children, which is my favorite Space Marine Legion, because they're all like hedonists and crazy monsters. But this is before they get the change to become that. This is when they were like normal soldiers. And they still have all those elements that would eventually lead to their falls. But it was interesting to see them depicted as like quote unquote normal space marines. But there's one of the characters who I love who is called Fabius Bile. And he's basically like the Dr. Frankenstein of the Warhammer universe. And it's super funny because they do a little bit of backstory for him in this book where they reveal that he came from Ingolstadt, which is in Germany, and that is a place famous for featuring one Dr. Frankenstein in the book Frankenstein. So I was like, haha, that's a fun little reference that they kind of just peppered in there. And I was like, that's awesome. Because he's like part of the aristocracy. And like, he's got the line of like, he's literally a Dr. Frankenstein. I love it. They don't say he's a Dr. Frankenstein, but like, that's basically what they're saying there. So I really, really enjoyed that. And then I read and finished this book, this thing here. Hardy Boys and Tom Swift Ultra Thriller. So first off, I had no fucking idea who Tom Swift was. No idea. Apparently he's just like a boy genius. And I'm like, oh wow, that's fucking interesting. It's not. Boy geniuses are a dime a dozen in fiction. I knew the Hardy Boys, kind of, but I didn't know they worked for the government. I guess maybe this is just this era of of Hardy Boys because I thought they were just doing like kind of like Ho drum normal cases, but I guess this is a special one because they're going against the aliens. So I'm going to spoil this book. If you don't want this spoiled, go to a little bit further in the video. If you do not see this thing on the screen, then who cares? I'm gonna spoil this. You don't care. Anyway, so this alien comes to Earth, crash lands on Earth, and then Tom Swift finds it, and then the Hardy Boys get roped in. So they have to teach the alien how to speak. Now there is a scene in this book that was absolutely nuts, where they hook the alien up to this robot, and it learns how to speak, but it starts speaking in an accent. And then it's supposed to be speaking like it's a Brooklyn based comedian famous for MTV. And then she says something that the book does not tell you what she says. It does not tell you the word. And then everyone around her is like, oh my goodness, you can't say that. That is incredibly inappropriate and is something only edgy comedians say. And I'm like, excuse me? Did this book just say that the alien said a slur or something? Like, because, like, that did not seem like the F word, saying fuck. That is not something only edgy comedians do. It seemed like there was a specific reference to something that was very troubling. And I was like, excuse me? I did not expect that in this. Anyway, so then she gets kidnapped by the government, and then they have to go rescue her. So they have to go rescue her from this guy who's like this rich guy who like is weapons dealing. His name is Eric Laidlaw because that's a name. Anyways, it is his name. And we find out that he's also an alien just like her. So he's been on Earth way longer than she has, but they both got in like the same ship explosion, but she got lost in the cosmos. So he showed up like 100 years earlier, and he's been on Earth, and he's been slowly getting poisoned by our gases. And we find out that he's been on Earth for like hundreds of years, and he is responsible for everything from World War One to like the Tunguska effect. Like he himself is not responsible for that, but like this crash, these aliens are responsible for the Tunguska effect. If you know about it, it's like a thing that happened in Russia. Look it up. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, so this is the weirdest book because he did like this guy who has caused like all of these horrible things to happen. Like literally, he helped start World War II, and I'm like, why are you putting all this in the Tom Swift Hardy Boys book? Anyways, this global terrorist who has been doing it for ages and has caused the deaths of billions has also been stealing artwork and he has like this collection of very rare artwork, including the original, the real Mona Lisa. And he's like, fuck this planet, I'm going away. So he builds this a spaceship, and he stores all of this original, very famous artwork in it. And he's gonna get away, and he's gonna be an amazing heist. And you're like, whoa, what are these kids gonna do to stop this guy who is like a literal warlord who has the blood of millions on his hands? Anyways, it's the answer is nothing. He traps them in a force field, and he gets onto the ship that they like were first to help him build, and then the ship just explodes. They don't do anything. The ship just explodes, and the alien lady is like, yeah, I knew that ship was gonna explode. Because we made it out of shit parts. And like there's a moment where she's like, are you sure you want to do this? Don't you got all the backups? And he's all like, whatever, I just want off this planet. This planet sucks, I hate it. Anyways, then he leaves and it just blows up. And yeah, that was the book. And then, a bunch of, like, there's a lot of people with guns in this. Was not expecting that. A lot of like I'm gonna blow your brains out, and the blood is gonna spatter all over my car type of thing. And I'm like, isn't the Hardy Boys for children? Why are there like dudes around that are like, I'm about to paint this car with your brains? You're like, what? You probably shouldn't be saying that in this book. Anyways, the early 90s, wild time for the Hardy Boys. This book sucked, but it was the GarbAugust book I've read so far, so free in space on my bookshelf. And now, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to bed, so I don't know which one of these I'm going to start, or if I'm going to start either one. The problem with this one is like it's real tiny, and this one is also tiny. Why did I not? I don't know. How many pages is this one? Oh, it's only like it's like less than 200. Oh yeah, there you go. Maces the ape. Anyways, so I'll update you tomorrow with what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna clean out some litter boxes and go to bed. So talk to you tomorrow, and let's see what else also helped cause World War One. Maybe that'll be in here as well. Who knows? So power's out this morning, so that's a thing that we're dealing with. Look at this beautiful man. Look at him. Look at the cloud. Look at the looms. Look at the Wisty. Look at the Nami. Wow. Yeah, they've already had breakfast today, but apparently they're doing the Hobbit thing of, but what about second breakfast? But what about second breakfast? I'm sorry for that horrible Hobbit impression. We call it a horripible. That doesn't make sense. Horbitable? I don't know. Hillary. Last night, I started this book, The Binary Star, this bind-up of two science fiction novellas, and I'm actually pretty intrigued so far, starting with The Twilight River, and I'm only about 20 pages in, and I was like, oh wow, this is compelling stuff, which led me to the decision that I'm going to DNF It Came from the Drive-In. The stories are just not very good. I love the cover. The stories are just kind of not really gripping me. And I kind of realized, because at first I was like, oh, it's the smaller print on that book. That's the reason why I'm not blasting through that. But then I pick up this book, and this book has smaller print, and I'm immediately hooked and going through it and being like, whoa, what's gonna happen next? What? So yeah, so I had to realize that I just was not digging and Came from the Drive-In, but that's okay. I am digging The Twilight River. It is trashy so far, though. I mean, I gotta show you one of the images. I mean, am I allowed to show you this? I mean, I don't care. I'll put I'll put a Richard Lehman face above the naughty bits. But yeah, no, this is some naked lady just shooting an alien. And the scene is so random. It's such a random scene where she's shoots the alien. You're like, what is happening? So it's a very strange book so far. And that's kind of why I'm liking it, because it's just very, very silly and strange. So that's exciting. This is also one of those books where I went on to rate it on Goodreads, to say I'm reading it on Goodreads, and it's absolutely no one else has ever read this in the history of life. And I'm like, that's some GarbAugust for me. So anyways, I'm going to go somewhere to buy some breakfast, because I don't really feel like not having coffee yet. I need my coffee. I need it. So I'm going to probably start I say start. They're really, really quick. I'm going to either start the second Murderbot book or the second Wasteland Warlords book. Both things that I dabbed into in GarbAugust 1.5. And I was like, oh yeah, since I'm doing shorties, I should grab one of those guys and listen to one of them, because they're fun. Okay, I will update you later, hopefully when the power's back, because I don't like power being gone. It makes me sad. Good. You little chatterbox. You little chatterbox. Rocco's hanging out with the fish tanks. And I look okay. It looks like I have to go and snuggle because I'm being demanded to. Was about to go get groceries when I got a package. I forgot that as a contributor copy, I got 2 copies of Garbology. Well, there you go. And I also got the ebook. So there you go. That's cool. I don't know what to do with the second copy though. Maybe I could do a competition or something. Do a giveaway, or I could trade it in my local used bookstore. That would actually probably be bad. I shouldn't do that, but it would also be funny. Be like, hey, I got this because I'm in it. Can I get money for it? Oh. Anyways, I'm gonna go get groceries, but this is very cool. And I'm in print now. Wow. So, hello, I have an update for today. I've not done a lot. It's been a weird day. I've been feeling very tired for most of the day, but I did get some reading done. So first off, I did read this little weird novella called The Twilight River by Gordon Eklund. What a weird story. It's like this book that's like a fantasy, a sci-fi, and a post-apocalyptic story. Like post-apocalyptic and sci-fi are kind of hand in hand, but it has elements of like all of these disparate ideas into it. So basically the plot is that there is this it's Earth. Basically Earth has been taken over by this alien race, and it has like kind of like put us in all these like small towns and villages and not let us build up any cities, because humanity used to be like this big interstellar empire, and it went to their planet and completely destroyed their planet, and then they slowly over eons and decades rebuilt their society and then took over our planet, and then have like a permanent station there to make sure we don't rise above where we're at right now. And there is this guy who's a vagrant who's kind of living outside the system, and the system is like basically there are like warlocks who work with the aliens and like kind of patrol the town and make sure everyone is like doing works that are appropriate for the aliens. And our main character is this vagrant, and this book starts in a way that like it feels like a weird Ralph Bakshi movie. And I think this whole book feels like a weird Ralph Bakshi movie. If you've never seen one of those, it's like an 80s movie. Like he was big in the 80s, a good animator who made very strange animated movies. Because like this starts with like this guy, a main character, watching this girl bathing, and then she just randomly flips out and murders an alien. Like you don't really understand why. She kind of just loses it. And then you're like, okay, and then he like helps her escape the aliens to like go and like live with him, and they like go on this kind of adventure together to like find the promised land with no aliens, and it's very strange because she starts out where she's like really a poorly written female character, but then she kind of starts getting more to her, where they're like adding more elements to her to the point where she doesn't even feel like the same character that she was before. Now, of course, like character development, you could say, but you could also say it doesn't even. It just feels very strange, very very strange book. So I'm gonna do more of I'm gonna start the Terry tonight. I'm definitely not gonna finish it. These stories are very small. The like writing is very small. So I'm glad I read The Twilight River. Do I recommend it? I don't know, because like the only way to ever find this story is like this bind up. The Terry by F. Paul Wilson has been published elsewhere, but like this weird tale that is almost makes this entire book worth keeping, because I can't decide if I loved it or hated it or how I felt about it. It's very strange 70s sci-fi, I would say. If you're a person who likes weird stories, I mean, this is one of them. So the other thing, and also, by the way, I looked this bind up on both Goodreads and Storygraph, and I'm going to be the first person to ever rank this book. So that's weird. I guess this is just like some weird thing that I've discovered at an old used bookstore, and I'm like one of the only people who are online who have read this book. So, oh, the Terry is popular. People have read the Terry, but this freaking weird story, The Twilight River, I don't know. Also, I did the audio for Wasteland Warlords #2. I listened to the first one last GarbAugust 2.5 last GarbAugust 2.5 weekend, and I had a great time with it. I thought it was just like a really fun like story. It was like this, it's like these quick novellas, and I think it only took it's only took like a few hours to listen to it, and it is this group of adventurers who are living in this zone, and like a fantasy universe has pretty much combined with our normal universe, and it's like a lit RPG. So there's like RPG elements, like where like there's one character who has like a stat reading like monocle where he can like read people's stats and like see how people level up and stuff, which is kind of cool. But like it's them going on an adventure trying to build a life in this fantasy universe after their real lives have kind of fallen apart. And it has like some surprisingly good character writing, because like there is a character who is like, he's in jorts and he's got like a plaid, and he's like a hillbilly dude who's got like a big like chainsaw arm and stuff like that. And like his the way his character is written, I think in a worse writer would have made that character insufferable. And he has a charm to him in this where you're really just kind of impressed, because you're like, oh, this is fun, and I like this character quite a bit, and I shouldn't like this character because he's kind of obnoxious, but like into some really nice ways. And like the rest of the cast is super fun as well. This one adds another member to the cast, which is this pig who was who was actually originally a dragon, and she got cursed into being a pig. So she's like very like, I cannot believe you're speaking to me this way. I may be a pig, but I was a mighty dragon. I was the great blue worm. And it's just really cute and funny. And like they also have this like really cute little cyborg raccoon sidekick. So yeah, it's like a weird like cyberpunk fantasy. I guess both of the things I read there are equal parts sci-fi and fantasy, which is kind of funny. I guess it's just the kind of mood I'm in. But yeah, no, I had a good time with both. Wasteland Warlords is a pretty easy recommend. Like it's like on Audible Plus. It's just a really fun time. This one, their adventures lead them to like a creepy carnival. So if you're doing Kelsey's from Slime and Slashers Carnival, this one might be a good one to get into, because it's like a spooky haunted carnival setting, and it's really really fun actually. Like they do a lot with the setting, and it creates a really cool action sequence out of it. So I had a good time with this. I'll definitely be reading more in the future. I don't know if I'll be reading more. We'll see how the mood strikes me, because I kind of like spreading them out and just like having them as nice little treats. But anyways, the rest of the night I'm just going to be reading. I guess I'm going to start The Terry. And I'll see how far I get into that. I'm hoping to finish that one tomorrow. So I can get on to another book. Okay. Toodaloo. Hello. It is currently Monday. And yes, I did finish The Terry. The Terry is Bigfoot Jesus. That's the story. What if Jesus but Bigfoot? Bigfoot on the cross. He's got a good ass, though. Here, let me show you Bigfoot's ass. So this is this is a super serious book. Like, this book takes itself a little bit too seriously. But the artwork is great. Look at the junk in Bigfoot's trunk. Yeah. Oh, damn, Bigfoot. Damn. He's doing some squats. Anyways, that's Bigfoot's rump. So the Terry is it's like this alien planet, and there's this offshoot of humanity that you eventually learn that are like kind of like Bigfooty creatures, and they have humanity and they're able to talk and they're intelligent, but they're like looked down upon by their society, and they're trying to help out these psychic peoples who are also being prosecuted. And it is just this deadly serious book about uh, Bigfoot Jesus, and it's a little bit. It's like okay, it's okay. There's some fun like sci-fi action sequences in it, but the core idea is very much it's too serious to enjoy because you're kind of like, all right, yeah, 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 the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, but Bigfoot. It just did not interest me that much. This, of course, is the one that's like republished everywhere because it's F. Paul Wilson and he has much more famous than Gordon Eklund. The Twilight River was much better and was much more interesting, but this one read quicker. Like it reads super quick because you're kind of like, what? This is weird. And yes, Bigfoot does jerk off in it. I know you were asking. You were asking, does Bigfoot Jesus jerk it? And he does. I'm just answering the questions you were asking. The best part about this book is that the afterwords are done by the other author. So F. Paul Wilson does the afterword for this, and Gordon Eklund does the afterword for the Terry. And I thought that was interesting because it got two authors to interpret someone else's work and talk about them, which I just think is fascinating. And honestly, I think in both cases, the afterwords are probably better than the books themselves. At least from my perspective, I found them really interesting. So this is just another weird oddity. What a weird, what a weird collection. Oh God, I'm just trying to like. Anyways, I don't want to talk too much about this freaking silly book, but it took itself very seriously, which is how you know it's like prime camp. So I think I am going to read a little bit of Kung Fu, and then I'm going to go for a walk and do some other stuff, but I might DNF this. I mean, this is kind of men's adventure. It's probably kind of racist. We'll see. But that's next. Maybe it'll be Kung Fu Jesus. I don't know. Hello. So it has been a day. Like not a full day, but I mean it's been a hell of a day. In that I just can't seem to get into any book. So I DNF'd Kung Fu Mace. I DNF'd Rust. It was really bad. There's like some Jesus stuff in it, and I was like, no. It ends with like this character who's like, I'm the last character on Earth, and then he meets another girl, and it's like, what's your name? Eve. And then she's only got a Bible, and I'm like, oh no. Maybe that's what this freaking cathedral is about. Anyways, this one, I was like, I don't really want to read this one, and like the very first, like I was like, oh, maybe I'll read this, and then like I read this part, and there's like already like slurs and stuff in it, and I'm like, no, I'm good. This I'm putting into a little free library, but not because I started and DNF'd it, but because I found a better copy in a little free library. So it's weird that I found 2 copies of James Herbert's The Fog in little free libraries, but hey, I'm not one to complain. And then I started and stopped The Hospital Station, not because it was bad, just because it was like, the tone was something where I'm like, I think this is probably like meant to be a little bit fun and exciting, and I think I'm just gonna save it for later. It didn't seem very GarbAugust to me. And then Cats Have No Lord, which did seem a little bit GarbAugust-y, but I was like, I'm just gonna read that during Catchuary in January, so I'm gonna put that aside. I don't know why I put it here anyways. It's a book about cats not having lords. Anyways. So I did finish the second Murderbot's Diaries today on a walk. The Artificial Condition, and I really like that. That series is fun. They're very easy breezy books to listen to, and I have a good time with them. This one introduced a swarthy character, not swarthy, he's a smartass. There's a smartass robot that's like befriended our main character, our main murder bot, named Art, and he is like this giant ship that is like an artificial intelligence, and he's like helping him. He's like his sidekick during their current adventure, and it gets a little bit into the Murderbot Diaries past that are only slightly hinted at in the first book, and yeah, it felt like a really good continuation, but it also felt like a good story in its own regard. It's interesting because they're all novellas, and you'd think because there's so many of them, it would just be it would feel like it was a book that was split up. But I think each novella feels distinct from the others, and they tell their own complete story. And I think if this was all just turned into one book, it would just feel a little bit too episodic for like a book format. So the novellas work well for it. And yeah, I'm quite enjoying that series. There's only one more that's on Audible Plus, so I'm gonna save that for a little bit. Lewis, what are you doing? The one book that I did finally actually start and get into is The Phantom Lover by Rebecca York. Finally, I found something that I'm enjoying. I'm only about, what am I, like 30 pages in? Yep, 33 pages in. And I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely going to be reading that for the rest of the night. And yeah, no, this is just, it's so far, it's like a very gothic romancy story. I've never read any Harlequin intrigue or any Harlequin books at all. So this was kind of a fun little surprise. These are just kind of like handy dandy little books. You kind of instantly kind of into whatever's going on and having a good time with it. So, having a good time with it, as I said, that everyone would. Anyways, words. So yeah, I'm just going to relax the rest of the night, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo. Yes, Loomis? Oh, you're not meowing now that you're on camera. Now that I caught you on camera. It is Tuesday, and today sucks. It's not fun. It's not a good day. I did get some video recording done. I have not got any reading done yet because it's been kind of raining on and off all day. It looks like it's finally about to stop raining, though, because I see the sun. I can see the sun. So I'm going to go for a walk, and on my walk, I am going to start the short story collection on audio for Halo Evolutions. I don't feel like getting it out of there. But yeah, so hopefully that's a good short story collection. I don't know. But it goes with the theme that I've been working on. Kiss, 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 kiss. Talk to you later. So, I've not been feeling the best today after all the weather and everything like that, but I did go out and get some running around done, and I'm finally feeling better now, after all the rain has passed and I've been able to sit down, drink a bunch of water, and relax. So I was listening to the audiobook for Halo Evolutions, and I got through a few short stories in that, and wow, it's a really, really good short story collection. I think maybe that's like some of the best Halo stories ever. And that's probably because there's like a freedom with short story collections where you can kind of play around in a universe versus like having to tell a story that perfectly fits within it. But yeah, like there are some really, really, really good stories in that collection, and I've been kind of floored, to say the least. Really, really impressed with it so far. Especially there was a Tobias S. Buckle one, and that was one of the best short stories I've read in a while. It was like these Marines who were like stuck in a losing war and being kind of like mistreated by the higher ups. They have like this plan to go to this planet that's about to be destroyed and like take all of this gold that's that's left on the planet and use it to like set them up and like so they can actually retire and have money for the future. But when they sit down to like go in and start taking all the money, they find that there are civilians hiding in the in that zone of where they're going to take all of the money from. And it like becomes like a thing that kind of like splits the people who are like doing this heist from people who want the money and people who are like, no, this is wrong. We have to help these people. If we don't help them, why are we even soldiers? And like, I don't know, it was a really interesting story that had a pretty depressing, sad ending, but I really liked it. I thought it was a really, really good story that like kind of highlighted the best parts of the universe, and I think Buckle is a really strong writer. I did also come home to get some book mail, some of the last book mail. I have one more shipment of some stuff coming in, but then that'll be it for a long time, I say skeptically. So first off, some stuff I got from Better World Books. I got this, which is the second in a Bastion Wars. I've never heard anyone talk about this, but it's one of the. It was cheap because I went to buy this book. Actually, I'm kind of sad because this book is not in great shape, but it was cheap. It was cheap, much cheaper than anywhere else because I wanted the final book because I've been collecting these Dragonlance Villains series, and this is the one that I hadn't got yet. Oh, actually, there's a few other orders coming in. Wow, I can't believe I forgot all the stuff I ordered. There's one more of these coming in, and one more other book that I got in like the same thing when I bought all these guys. But anyways, but this one is the one that goes for a little bit of money online, and I found it for like $3. With $7 shipping, so I was like, "What? Heck yeah, I'm gonna buy it!" And this is like the final one in that series, so I had to buy that. And then with the things that I bought some. I put some other stuff in the package as well. So this is the final fighting fantasy game, and I know I was talking about because this is the reprint from 2006, and I remember I was talking about I wasn't sure if there was the original artwork or there was different new artwork. And I'm happy to say the original artwork is kept. The 1980s original artwork is kept for the 2006 reprints. So that's good to know for when I'm collecting them in the future. Because, yeah, I kind of love the original artwork. And then with my local used bookstore, well, my local bookstore, Indigo in Canada, is basically our Barnes & Noble. I actually had $20 in Plum Points left. And I picked up this, which you might be like, Andrew, didn't you already read this book? Because yes, I have read this book on audio, but I fucking loved it. And the paperback just came out, and I was like, I want it. And it only cost me 75 cents with the $20 off. So I was like, hell yeah. And this has some like really good quotes in it. So I wanted to like actually like go back in here and like highlight some quotes of some of my favorite quotes and everything like that. Because there's some really touching stuff in here. So I really love this book. So I was really happy to buy that one. Although I need to now do a massive unhaul is the thing that I need to do because look at all these freaking books that are like piling up in random places. So yeah, this is what the rest of my GarbAugust pile is looking like. I've whittled it down to halfway, which is pretty good. So I might actually get to at least like 75% of these. So that's good. I might have a few of these left over, but that's good. And most of these will be things that I read and then I unhaul. So that's going well. I'm just going to have to like go through all of my books and like pick and choose what I want to keep because I need to make some space. So that'll be a project for another day. But today, the rest of the day, I'm probably just going to relax. I have a little bit of wine. I'm grabbing some wine, and I'm just going to read. No. Some more of The Phantom Lover. The Phantom Lover. The Phantom Lover. Do you have a phantom lover? He's like, no. Yeah. So, a crappy day turned into a good day. Talk to you guys later. Oh, I don't know if you can see them. There's some bats kicking around. I just thought it was cool. It's a nice night, regardless. Just kind of going for a walk. Oh, look at Bunny. Bunny. So, I just finished Halo Evolutions, the short story collection, which was amazing, which is really, really good. I listened to that pretty much all day and didn't get much else done. So I was basically just doing that all day. But I really loved it. It had like so many unique perspectives and like it had so many interesting storytelling techniques that really took advantage of the short story concept to do things very differently and very interesting in a variety of settings within the Halo universe. While I was, listening to the very end of the audiobook, I remembered something that I stupidly last week forgot about, and that is I had actually read a Peter David book before. I read the Wolverine Election Day last week, and I was like, oh, I've never listened, like, I've never read any Peter David before. And I'm like, whoa, no, wait a minute. Yes, I did. It was freaking Halo Hunters in the Dark. I absolutely did. I listened to that last year, so I'm a dum dum, and I totally forgot that I had listened to that Peter David story, which was good. It's actually a pretty great story. I really like that one. So, doy, whoopity whoopity whoopity. But I finished Halo Evolutions is what I read. This one is actually volume one, so I listened to the audiobook and it was like both volumes because it was a pretty long audiobook. So that was pretty interesting, don't you agree, Claude? Claude is like, yes, I agree, I agree. So now I'm just going to probably just read a little bit more of Phantom Lover before bed. It is, I really should be like almost done this book by now, but no, it's definitely gonna add. Definitely gonna make it to yeah tomorrow because yeah, I'm only on page 80. But I feel like I should have read all this, but I was kind of derailed for reading anything physically yesterday. And then I was just in the mood for doing a long walk and listening to an audiobook today. So definitely we'll finish this tomorrow and we'll read a little bit more tonight. So that's that. This is actually pretty fun. I mean, so I like this book so far, Phantom Lover, but like it's very bogged down because like there's like an interesting through line plot that just keeps getting bogged down by people like making out for like extreme lengths of time. And like I'm used to like smut books where like, they get it on. This one is just like they're just kissing a bunch and you're like, well, I mean like that's good, I guess. They're just kissing. But like there's one point where it's like it describes her first night. Like literally we're only at the character's second day and we're 80 pages in because like the night is like, oh, somebody comes and kisses me a bunch in the night, but then I wake up and I was like, where did this person come from? And then she like goes into a finds a secret passage because she is like a private detective hired to go into this fancy dancy uh, old timey Victorian mansion, basically in San Francisco, to find out what has been going on with her old friend's brother, who she had a relationship with before, but he's mysterious, being mysterious, and she doesn't know what's happened to him. And it's like pretty. I mean, obviously, it's called Phantom Lover, so I believe it's a ghost book. I it has to be a ghost book. There's like been weird things where you're like, is this not a ghost book? This has to be. It's if it's not a ghost book, I would be very surprised because it seems like everything is like explaining that it's very ghosterson. So I'm like, okay, cool. Uh, I'm gonna guess this is probably gonna be the only Harlequin I'll ever read though, because I kind of got the idea of how this goes, and I'm glad I did read it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it, but it does not seem like something I'm going to continue. It's just like slightly a little bit too tame for me, and like the romance does not seem very well developed. Because I'm like, I'm good with like a normal slow burn romance, but this is just kind of silly and ridiculous, which is a fun read, but not my preferred type of this book because I like either a lengthy, long running, intricate romance where it's like very character heavy and that kind of thing, or I also do enjoy a good old smut book as well. But this is like a weird in between that I'm just not enjoying as much. So it's still fun. I'm invested in the plot, but the problem is the plot keeps getting like diverted by, and then we kiss a bunch, and I'm like, and then what? Oh, you kiss some more? Okay, we're gonna do anything. Oh, smooshy, smooshy, smoochies, and I'm like, okay. I'm gonna finish this though, so maybe my tune will change in a little bit. But yes, that's what I will be doing for the rest of the night. So that will be fun. Okay, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Kiddies, look at all them kiddies. Yeah, 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 it's a Thursday, and now I'm singing very badly to these kiddies. Two orange boys, no brain cells, just vibing with no brains. Not you though, you're a genius. Yeah, you're my little genius. You're my little genius. The boys are all dumb though. Like me. Look at that. No thoughts, only vibes. Oh, he's doing the twist. He's doing a twist. So I'm going to go for a walk and listen to some podcasts, maybe start an audiobook, but I won't finish the audiobook here, so I might start like a short story collection or something where I listen to like a few stories, and then once I finish Phantom Lover, this will be bloggeth over. Talk to you later. Currently watching Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo with the patrons. Loomis is hooked. This movie is weird AF. Okay, so to end this vlog is Wisteria being very cute. And here is this Harlequin and Krieg I read. First ever Harlequin book. Also, definitely going to be my last. I do kind of think it's fair. I used to think it was not fair to team these up with like Men's Adventure, but like I kind of feel like they kind of have the same problems where like Men's Adventure is like, oh, it's all about masculine energy. Oh, man, being men. And these books also have that. Like there's a lot of like masculine, feminine energy, and I'm like, I don't want to read that. I don't like it. I don't like genderizing energy. Just make an interesting character. The main dude in this is so boring. He's got superpowers and he's boring. That's impressive. That's a thing that only a man can do, is have all the powers in the world and be a boring sack of shit. Like their relationship is like the least interesting part about this book, because like the overall plot is not bad, but there's about like 50 pages of like basic ass kissing that is extremely boring. Like, maybe I'm like, I guess I've just read too many monster romances that like getting into a book like this, I'm like, ugh, I'm not interested. I'm interested. It's not that I don't like that I dislike romances. I actually do like quite a few romances. I think it just like, because like this book is not very character heavy. It's more like vanilla kissing heavy, and you're like, I'm just not at this level anymore. I can't enjoy this. It wasn't terrible. The main plot was like okay, but it just no, this did not work for me. It's got to be monster if it's going to be like a fun, silly romance, or it's got to be like a bigger. Like I want to read some romances that people have recommended and enjoyed, because I think I would like that. Like when it's like very character heavy and like they have like really cool arcs, and it's like a very like drawn out full book, I would enjoy that. But if I'm gonna read like a trashy silly thing like this, I think I need something a little bit more than Harlequin intrigue. But this is good though, because I have a few of these kicking around and I can just unhaul them now, because I know it's not a thing I enjoy. Although technically I guess I should probably read one more before I make that decision, but I need to make space on my bookshelf. So that's this week. Look at his little nose. Bagonk the nose. And yeah. I don't know. We'll see how next week is like. This was my shorty week. I hope you had a good week and you enjoy the trashy goodness. Would you enjoy the trashy goodness, girl? Wisteria says, talk to you later. Close the eye. She's watching you.